Hello, DeSoto ISD Algebra 2 scholars. This video will inform you of everything you need to know about your culminating performance assessment due at the end of the school year. What is it? The performance assessment is the final project all students are expected to complete and to turn into their teacher by May 18th. We want all of our students to earn a pass. If you are viewing this video and you have low or no tech, we encourage you to pick up a packet on the porch of your campus. Students with paper packets may ask their parents to email pictures of the work along the way and receive feedback through scheduled phone calls with teachers. Students without technology may submit their culminating performance assessments by phone. Please contact your school administrator for alternative acceptable ways to submit your paper packet if you do not have technology. So there will be many ways that we'll turn this performance assessment in. If you have technology or not, you could do it through Schoology, Google Classroom, just email it to your teacher. You can do it on paper and pencil and then take a picture of it and then email that to your teacher. So there's a lot of different ways that you'll be able to turn this performance assessment in. This is the Algebra 2 performance assessment. So students will have 3 questions broken out into 3 parts. So like, again, you can work this out on a sheet of paper, take a picture, turn it in. There'll be a Schoology link for my students where they can go in and do this online if they would like. But it's all over exponential functions and graphing them and looking at the changes of different graphs. So given the function f of x equals 2 to the x and g of x equals 3 times 2 to the x minus 5, for A, we want to graph and label f of x and g of x on the same coordinate plane. So make sure that you put them both in the same coordinate plane and make sure that they are labeled. You can do graphing by hand. You can use a graphing application or a graphing calculator. So you have Desmos available to you, or whatever graphing tool that you can use to get both of these functions graphed. Please do so. If you do it on your phone, you can take a screenshot of that and put that in, or you can put them on a coordinate plane. After that, we want to determine the effects of the parameter changes of the graph of f of x equals 2 to the x when replaced by g of x equals 3 times 2 to the x minus 5. So pretty much we're asking what are the transformations that occur going from f of x to g of x. So make sure you go in that order. And then we want to identify and analyze the key attributes of f of x and g of x. So you're going to do this for both f of x and g of x. Look at them separately. We want to include their domain and range, the x and y intercepts, and the asymptotic behavior. So those are the 3 components, and all of these questions are really the same thing. You'll use the device to graph f of x and g of x and label them, make sure they're labeled, put them in the same coordinate plane. We're going to talk about the parameter changes of how did f of x change to become g of x, what changes occurred, did it translate up, did it translate right, did it flip, did it stretch, vertical stretch or vertical shrink, horizontal stretch, horizontal shrink, any of those things. Please use your academic vocabulary for those. And then for number 3, again, we want to break down f of x and g of x, talking about its domain and range. You can use interval notation or inequality notation. We want the x and y intercepts and the asymptotic behavior. That's it. And the same thing for the last one. Use your graphing calculator, you take a picture. So you should have 3 graphs, and then you'll compare the f of x from the g of x, because it should be labeled. How did it change? Move up or down, left or right. So use your academic vocabulary though. So translates, rotates, all that. And that is the Algebra 2 performance assessment. And so if you have any questions, feel free to email your teachers on how you guys are going to turn this in. But again, this is due on May 18th.